You wake up early. You stay disciplined. You try to improve yourself. You read the books, watch the videos, make the plans, and from the outside, it looks like you're doing everything right. But somehow, your life still feels stuck, not falling apart, just not moving. And that's the confusing part, because when effort doesn't create progress, the mind quietly starts turning against itself. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe everyone else understands life better than I do, especially in Canada, where so many people are carrying silent pressure, the pressure to stay productive, to appear stable, to build a good life while pretending everything feels manageable. And over time, you begin to feel exhausted in a very specific way. Not physically, emotionally, because deep down, you thought all this effort would eventually make you feel clear, but instead, you just feel tired and uncertain. A lot of people experience this after moving into adulthood. You follow the path that was supposed to work. Study hard, get a stable job, be responsible, save money, stay respectful, avoid mistakes, and for a while that structure feels comforting. Until one day, you notice something strange. Your life is functioning, but you don't feel connected to it. You complete tasks, answer emails, pay bills, show up on time. But internally, something feels distant. And because nothing is technically wrong, it becomes difficult to explain, especially in cultures where survival and success are deeply connected. Many people in Canada live inside a quiet performance, not because they're fake, because life is expensive. Pressure is constant, and slowing down feels dangerous, so people keep moving, even when they no longer understand why. You see this everywhere. People with stable careers who feel emotionally numb. People in relationships who feel deeply alone. People achieving goals they secretly stopped caring about years ago. And sometimes, the reason you feel stuck is not because you're failing. It's because your inner world no longer agrees with the life you're maintaining. That disconnect matters more than most people realize, because humans can tolerate stress for a long time. But misalignment, that slowly drains the spirit. You can wake up every day doing the correct things while slowly abandoning yourself underneath them. And the hardest part is this: responsible people often ignore their own signals the longest because they know how to endure. They know how to stay functional. They know how to keep going even when something feels off, especially immigrants, first-generation families, or people raised around sacrifice. You learn early that survival comes first, feelings come later. So even when your body feels heavy, or your motivation disappears, or life starts feeling strangely flat, you keep pushing, because stopping feels irresponsible. But eventually, the mind and body begin asking for attention in quieter ways. You lose excitement. You overthink simple decisions. You feel emotionally detached from achievements that once mattered, not because you're lazy, because part of you has been unheard for too long. And modern life makes this worse. There's always another goal, another comparison, another expectation. In Canada especially, people often build lives around stability, and stability matters. But sometimes stability without emotional connection becomes another form of survival mode. You start organizing your entire existence around avoiding risk, avoiding discomfort, avoiding failure, avoiding uncertainty, and slowly, life becomes smaller, predictable, safe, heavy. The strange thing is, many people don't realize they're emotionally stuck until rest finally arrives. A quiet evening, a weekend alone, a long winter drive, and suddenly, all the feelings they outran begin surfacing at once. Because busyness can hide confusion for years, but silence reveals it quickly. That's why some people feel strangely emotional during ordinary moments. Not because the moment is dramatic, because they finally slow down enough to hear themselves. And when that happens, a difficult realization often appears. You were so focused on becoming who you should be that you stopped asking who you actually are. That question changes everything, because doing everything right according to other people's expectations can still create the wrong life for you. And this doesn't mean your career is wrong, or your relationship is wrong, or your choices were mistakes. It simply means external success and internal alignment are not the same thing. One is visible. The other is deeply personal, and many people spend years building a life that looks stable externally, while feeling disconnected internally, especially in environments where emotional honesty is rare. A lot of adults are walking around carrying invisible grief. Grief for time lost. Grief for versions of themselves they abandoned. Grief for dreams they convinced themselves were unrealistic. But instead of processing that grief, they stay busy. Because productivity feels safer than reflection. Reflection asks uncomfortable questions. What do I actually want? What am I pretending not to know? What parts of myself have I ignored just to keep life functioning? Those questions can feel overwhelming at first, but they're also deeply important, because people don't become stuck overnight. It happens gradually, one compromise at a time, one ignored feeling at a time, 1 year of emotional disconnection becoming 5, and eventually you wake up inside a life you built carefully, responsibly, logically, but it no longer feels alive to you. That realization hurts, but it's also honest. And honesty is usually where healing begins. Not dramatic healing, quiet healing. The kind where you slowly stop performing strength all the time. The kind where you admit you're tired before reaching complete burnout. The kind where you stop forcing yourself to want things that no longer fit your spirit. Sometimes the biggest shift is not adding more discipline. It's allowing more truth. Truth about what drains you. Truth about what matters to you now. Truth about what kind of life actually feels meaningful. And that process takes time, especially for people who built their identity around responsibility. Because when you've spent years being dependable, you begin believing your worth comes from functioning well, so resting feels guilty, changing direction feels selfish, and uncertainty feels dangerous, but staying emotionally disconnected has a cost too, a quiet cost. You can feel it in conversations that no longer energize you, in routines that feel strangely empty, in goals that look impressive but leave you cold inside. And eventually, your inner world keeps asking the same question: how long can I continue living like this? That question isn't weakness, it's awareness. Because the goal of life was never just survival. Even in difficult economies, even in stressful cities, even in cultures obsessed with achievement, humans still need meaning, connection, honesty, presence. Without those things, even success starts feeling emotionally thin. And maybe that's where you are right now. Not failing, not broken, just disconnected from yourself after years of trying to do life correctly. That happens more often than people admit, especially to thoughtful people, especially to people carrying invisible pressure. And maybe the next step is not becoming a completely different person. Maybe it's quieter than that. Maybe it's simply learning to listen again, to notice what brings you alive, to notice what constantly exhausts you, to notice where you've been performing instead of living. Because being stuck is not always a sign that you need more effort. Sometimes it's a sign that something inside you is asking for a different kind of attention. And slowly, when you stop treating yourself like a machine to optimize, you begin feeling something return, not certainty, something softer, a sense of connection, a sense of honesty, a sense that your life belongs to you again. And that shift usually happens quietly, long before anyone else notices. But you notice, and for the first time in a long time, you stop feeling completely lost inside your own life.